In my inventory system, ang sorting na ginawa ko is bubble sort. First, this is my program. It is about inventory system of Grace Ann online shop. And as we can see, ang sorting na ginawa ko is sa prices, from cheapest to expensive. And here in my program, the prices are not sorted. So, gumamit ako nitong bubble sort para masorted yung mga prices. So, paano nga ba gumagana ang bubble sorting? So, first step, starting with the first element or index 0. Compare the current element with the next element of the array. Step 2, if the current element is greater than the next element of the array, then swap them. Step 3, if the current element is less than the next element, then move to the next element. And lastly, repeat step 1 till the list is sorted. So, here are the list of unsorted prices in my program. First, magsisimula tayo sa index 0. So, element ng index 0 is compared natin sa next element. So, 470 is not greater than 650. So, mag-move lang siya sa next index. So, 650 is greater than 135. Also, 650 is greater than 150, 350, 550, 260, 265, 299, 280, 250, 235, 135, 135, 160, 165. Then, dito na siya mapupunta sa index 15. Kasi, 650 is not greater than 1,150. So, move tayo sa next index. So, 1,150 is not greater than 36. So, move ulit tayo sa next index. So, 36 is greater than 80 and also 85. So, nag-swap yung 36 hanggang sa index 19. So, yung 36 pa lang yung sorted prices. Then, balik tayo sa index 0. So, 470 is greater than 135, 150, and 350. So, nag-swap siya hanggang sa index 3. Then, yung 550 is greater than 260, 265, 299, 280, 250, 235, 135, 160, 165. So, nag-swap siya sa index 14. Then, move sa kasunod na element. So, 650 is not greater than 1,150. So, move ulit sa kasunod. So, 150 is greater than 80 and 85. So, nag-swap siya hanggang sa index 18. Then, dalawa na yung sorted price. Then, balik ulit tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. So, move sa next. So, 150 is not greater than 350. So, move sa next. Then, 350 is not greater than 470. Then, move sa next ulit. Then, 470 is greater than 260, 265, 299, 280, 250, 235, 135, 135, 160, 165. So, ang ganda lang. So, swap siya hanggang sa index 13. Then, move sa next. So, 550, move sa next. Yung 470 is not greater than 550. So, move sa next. 550 is not greater than 650. So, move sa next. So, 650 is greater than 80 and 85. So, swap na siya sa 17. Index 17. So, tatlo na yung sorted element. And balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. Move sa next. 150 is not greater than 350. Move sa next. So, 350 is greater than 260, 265, 299, 280, 250, 235, 135, 160. Then, punta na siya sa index 12. Nag-swap siya sa index 12. Then, 350 is not greater than 470. So, move sa next. So, 470 is not greater than 550. So, move sa next. 550 is greater than 80 and 85. So, nag-swap yung 550 sa index 16. And then, apat na yung sorted element. Then, balik uli sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. Move sa next. 150 is not greater than 260. Move sa next. 260 is not greater than 265. Move sa next. So, 265 is not greater than 299. So, move sa next. So, 299 is greater than 280, 250, 235, 135, 135, 160. So, yung 299 is nag-swap sa index 11. Then, 299 is not greater than 350. So, move sa next. So, 350 is not greater than 470. So, move sa next ulit. Then, 470 is greater than 80 and 85. So, 470 is nag-swap sa index 15. So, ang sorted element na natin is 5. And balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. 150, so move sa next. So, 150 is not greater than 260. Move sa next. 260 is not greater than 265. Move sa next. 265 is not greater than 280. Move sa next. So, 280 is greater than 250. 235, 135, 135, and 160, and 165. So, swap siya sa index 10. So, yung 280 is not greater than 299. So, move sa next. So, 299 is not greater than 350. Then, 350 is greater than 80 and 85. So, nag-swap yung 350 sa index 14. Then, we have 6 sorted element. So, balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. Move sa next. 150 is not greater than 260. Then, 260 is not greater than 265. Move sa next. So, 265 is greater than 250. 235, 135, 135, 160, and 165. So, yung 265 is nag-swap sa index 9. Then, 265 is not greater than 280. Then, move sa next. 280 is not greater than 299. Then, move sa next. Then, 299 is greater than 80 and 85. So, nag-swap yung 299 sa index 13. Then, we have 7 elements na sorted. Click tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. 150 is not greater than 260. Then, 260 is greater than 250. 235, 135, 135, 160, and 165. So, yung 260 is nag-swap sa index 8. Then, 260 is not greater than 265. Move sa next. 265 is not greater than 280. Move sa next. Then, 280 is greater than 80 and 85. So, nag-swap yung 280 sa index 12. Then, we have 8 sorted elements. Click tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. Move sa next. 150 is not greater than 250. Move sa next. 250 is greater than 235. 135, 135, and 160, and 165. So, yung 250 is nag-swap sa index 7. Then, 260 is not greater than 265. Then, move sa next. 265 is greater than 80 and 85. So, yung 265 is nag-swap sa index 11. Then, we have 9 sorted elements. Balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. 150 is not greater than 235. Then, 235 is greater than 135. 135, 160, 165. So, yung 235 is nag-swap sa index 6. Then, 235 is not greater than 250. So, move sa next. 250 is not greater than 260. Move sa next. Then, the 260 is greater than the 80 and 85. So, yung 260 is nag-swap sa index 10. Then, we have 10 elements na sorted. Then, balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 150. 150 is greater than 135 and 135. So, yung 150 is na-move sa index 3. Then, 150 is not greater than 160, so move sa next. 160 is not greater than 165, move sa next. 165 is not greater than 235, move sa next. Then 235 is not greater than 250, then move sa next. Then 250 is greater than 80 and 85, so 250 is nag-swap sa index 9. Then we have 11 sorted elements. Uli sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 135. So, move na tayo sa index 3. So, 150 is not greater than 160. Then, move sa next. 160 is not greater than 165. So, move sa next. 165 is not greater than 235. Then, move sa next. Then, 235 is greater than 80 and 85. So, yung 235 is nag-swap sa index 8. Then, we have 12 sorted elements. Tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 135. And 135 is not greater than 150. So, move tayo sa next. 150 is not greater than 160. Move sa next. Then 160 is not greater than 165. Move sa next. Then 165 is greater than 80 and 85. So, yung 165 is nag-swap sa index 7. So, we have 13 sorted elements. Then, again, balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 135. 135 is not greater than 135. Then, 135 is not greater than 150. Then, 150 is not greater than 160. And, 160 is greater than 80 and 85. So, nag-swap yung 160 sa index 6. So, we have 14 sorted elements. So, balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 135. Then, 135 is not greater than 135. Then, 135 is not greater than 150. Then, 150 is greater than 80 and 85. So, yung 150 is nag-swap sa index 5. So, we have 15 sorted elements. Then, balik ulit tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 135. So, move sa next. 135 is not greater than 135. Move sa next. Then, 135 is greater than 80 and 85. So, yung 135 is nag-move sa index 4. Then, we have 16 sorted elements. And balik ulit tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is not greater than 135. Then, 135 is greater than 80 and 85. So, yung 135 is nag-swap sa index 3. Then, we have 17 sorted elements. Then, balik tayo sa index 0. So, 135 is greater than 80 and 85. So, yung 135 is nag-swap sa index 2. Then, we have 18 sorted elements. Then, balik tayo sa index 0. So, 80 is not greater than 85. So, bale, ito na yung final sorted list ng aking prices.